oldest professional player. In an era where 40-year-old superstars are hailed as medical marvels, Kazuyoshi Miura, or King Kazu, exists in a different reality. He is the oldest professional footballer in history, a record he personally extends with every season he plays. As of 2024, at the astonishing age of 57, he was not a ceremonial figure but a fully rostered player in Portugal's professional league. His unparalleled journey began in 1986 in Brazil, long before most of his current teammates were born. He was the iconic poster boy for the launch of Japan's J-League in 1993 and became the first Japanese player to win the Asian Footballer of the Year award. Decades later, his career persists, spanning 5 different decades. While his explosive pace is long gone, he compensates with timeless technical ability and a legendary, unmatched professionalism that keeps him signed. While other icons retire to the history books, King Kazu is a living timeline of the sport, holding a record of longevity that isn't just remarkable. It is, by its very nature, unbreakable. Own goals. In the annals of football, there is one record so comically tragic, it may never be broken. It belongs to Belgian defender Stan van den Buijs, who, in a 1995 match for Germinal Ekkeren against Anderlecht, suffered the worst day of his professional life. He scored a perfect hat-trick, entirely into his own net. The nightmare unfolded in 3 distinct acts of misfortune. His first was an unlucky deflected cross. His second was a catastrophically mistimed clearance that he shanked past his own keeper. The third, a final despairing header, cemented his infamous record. Germinal Ekkeren ultimately lost the match 3-2. Van den Buijs had single-handedly provided all of Anderlecht's goals. This record's unbreakable status comes from its sheer improbability. An own goal is a statistical anomaly. 3 in a single game by the same player defies the laws of probability. Furthermore, any manager today, he would almost certainly substitute a player after 2 such errors, if only out of compassion. It's a cosmic curse, a record of such specific, haunting misfortune that it will stand forever. 44 years at one club. When we talk about loyalty, we're really talking about Guy Roux, the French manager who spent 44 consecutive years at the helm of AJ Auxerre. This is not a typo. He took over the amateur regional league club in 1961 and didn't leave until 2005. He was manager, club doctor, stadium advertiser, and chief scout, all in one. He took this tiny, unknown village club from the lowest rungs of French football all the way to the First Division, which he won in 1996. He also won the Coupe de France 4 times and even competed in the Champions League. To put this in perspective, the next longest-serving manager is decades behind him. In today's game, where a manager is lucky to last 44 months, the idea of a 44-year reign is a fantasy. It's a record of loyalty, obsession, and community building that is completely alien to the modern high-stakes globalized sport. It will never ever be broken. Goals in a single World Cup match. Oleg Salenko of Russia holds the record for the most goals scored by one player in a single World Cup game, bagging 5 against Cameroon in 1994. The wildest part of this record is the context. This was a dead rubber group stage match. Russia was already eliminated from the tournament. With nothing to lose, Salenko just went nuts. He had a hat-trick by halftime and then added 2 more in the second half. His performance was so prolific that he ended up sharing the tournament's golden boot with Hristo Stoichkov, despite playing only 3 games. He's the only player in history to win the golden boot for a team that was knocked out in the group stage. In the modern World Cup, defences are far too organised, even in lopsided games. When Germany beat Brazil 7-1, the goals were spread among 6 different players. For one man to score 5, a team would have to completely and utterly capitulate on the world's biggest stage. This record is a statistical anomaly. 128 league goals in a season. The all-time record for goals in an English top-flight season belongs not to a modern super club, but to Aston Villa's 1930-31 team. They achieved a truly staggering 128 goals, a feat of pure unadulterated offence, averaging 3.04 goals per match. Their star striker, Tom Waring, contributed a remarkable 49 goals himself. But here is the central paradox of their chaotic season. They didn't even win the league. They finished runners-up to Arsenal, ultimately undone by their own philosophy. This team was a spectacular glass cannon. While they scored 128, they conceded a disastrous 78 goals at the other end. This record is a beloved relic from a pre-tactics era, a time of 5 forward formations where defending was a mere suggestion. For context, Manchester City's lauded Centurion team scored 106 goals, a full 22 goals, fewer than Villa. With modern, sophisticated defensive structures and tactical analysis, no team will ever be this prolific or this gloriously unbalanced again. Roger Milla, oldest World Cup scorer. Roger Milla is the oldest goal scorer in World Cup history, netting a goal at the 1994 USA World Cup at the age of 42 years and 39 days. This is a record of pure, timeless joy. Milla was already a legend from 1990, where he came out of retirement at 38 to lead Cameroon to the quarter-finals. The president of Cameroon personally called him again in 1994 and asked him to play. He came on as a substitute against Russia, and despite his team being thrashed 6-1, he scored a consolation goal. He then ran to the corner flag and performed his iconic dance, creating one of the World Cup's most enduring images. In the modern game, with its obsession with pace, pressing, and athletic metrics, no 42-year-old field player would ever make a World Cup squad. Milla's record is a relic of a time when a player's individual talent and national hero status could outweigh their birth certificate. 350-plus career assists. While goals get the glory, Lionel Messi holds the unofficial but widely cited record for the most assists in football history, with over 350. This number is almost as impressive as his goal tally. For his entire career, he has been both the greatest goal scorer and the greatest playmaker on the pitch. He holds the record for the most assists in La Liga history, the most in Copa America history, and the most in a single La Liga season. This record is unbreakable because it requires a unique, paradoxical skill set, the unselfish vision of a number 10 combined with the ruthless finishing instincts of a number 9. Most players are one or the other. Messi is both. Players like De Bruyne, Ozil, or Miller were assist specialists, but none had the sheer volume or longevity of Messi, who was racking up 20 assist seasons while also scoring 50 goals. 34 consecutive wins. The official world record for consecutive top-flight wins now belongs to Al Hilal, who set a staggering new benchmark with a 34-game victory streak during the 2023 to 2024 season. This relentless run didn't just break the previous professional record of 27 wins, it decisively eclipsed the hallowed 28-game streak set by the iconic 1971 to 1972 Ajax team, a side often considered one of history's greatest. For 5 straight months, the Saudi side, led by manager Jorge Jesus, was an unstoppable machine, competing across 4 demanding fronts: the domestic Saudi Pro League, the Continental AFC Champions League, the Kings Cup, and the Saudi Super Cup. They simply forgot how to lose or draw. Powered by stars like Alexander Mitrovic and Malcolm, this achievement is almost incomprehensible in the modern era. Given today's grueling fixture congestion, intense international travel, and the constant need for squad rotation, such sustained perfection is a marvel. It required not just immense talent, but a collective mental fortitude and a depth of quality that is virtually unmatched in football history. Fastest World Cup goal. The record for the fastest goal in World Cup history belongs to Hakan Şükür of Turkey, who scored just 11 seconds into the 2002 third-place playoff match. The opponents were the co-hosts, South Korea, who kicked off the match. In front of a roaring home crowd, their defenders made a fatal error, playing a square pass and then a back pass without looking. Şükür, the bull of Bosphorus, was pressing high. He pounced on the mistake, took one touch and slotted it past the keeper. The stadium was silenced before most fans had even settled into their seats. The previous record was 15 seconds, set in 1962. To break this record, a player would need to score in 10 seconds or less. This requires a catastrophic defensive error directly from the opening kickoff, combined with a striker who is perfectly positioned and finishes flawlessly. Kickoff routines are practiced to death in the modern era, This was a 1 in a billion fluke that happened on the biggest stage. 5 consecutive European Cups. From 1956 to 1960, Real Madrid established a dynasty that will never be replicated, winning the first 5 consecutive European Cups. This was the era of Di Stefano, Puskás, and Gento, a team of Galacticos before the term even existed. They culminated this reign of terror with one of the most famous finals ever, a 7-3 demolition of Eintracht Frankfurt in 1960. In the 60-plus years since, no team has ever come close to this. The next best consecutive streaks are just 3 in a row, achieved by Ajax and Bayern Munich in the 70s. Even in the modern Champions League era, the best anyone has done is Real Madrid's own three-peat from 2016 to 2018. That feat was seen as a once-in-a-generation miracle. But the modern tournament is a grueling marathon of 13 high-intensity matches against the world's elite. The original was a 7-game knockout cup. The financial, physical, and mental toll of the current format, plus the sheer depth of competition, makes winning even 2 in a row a monumental task. Winning 5 is a fantasy. World Cup trophies. Winning the World Cup once cements your name in history. Winning it twice makes you an all-time great. But one man stands alone, having won it 3 times, Pelé. He won his first as a 17-year-old prodigy in 1958, scoring 2 goals in the final. He was part of the squad that won again in 1962, even though he was injured for most of the tournament then. 12 years after his first, he led one of the greatest national teams ever assembled, the 1970 Brazil side, to a 3rd victory in Mexico. The sheer longevity and dominance this requires is staggering. The modern international game is so competitive and tactically balanced that no nation is guaranteed anything. Furthermore, players today face immense club versus country pressure and fixture congestion. For one player to remain the focal point of a national team, avoiding serious injury and peaking for 3 separate World Cup winning campaigns, spanning 12 years, it's a feat that belongs to a different era. He is the only player on Earth with 3 winners' medals, and he will remain the only one. Goals in one international match. On April 11th, 2001, Australian striker Archie Thompson set a record that's almost too absurd to believe, scoring 13 goals in a single international match. The game was a World Cup qualifier against American Samoa, which ended 31-0, the biggest win in international football history. His teammate, David Zdrilic, scored 8 goals in the same game, which would be an unbelievable record on any other day. But he was relegated to a footnote. The context is almost as wild as the record. American Samoa's entire senior squad was ruled ineligible due to passport issues, so they had to field a team of youth players, some of whom had reportedly never played a full 90-minute match. While the circumstances were a farce, the number is in the record books. Critically, this result was a catalyst for change. It led to the introduction of a preliminary qualifying round in the Oceania Football Confederation to prevent such embarrassing mismatches. Because of that structural change, a game this lopsided will never happen in a World Cup qualifier again, protecting Thompson's bizarre record forever. Goalkeeper clean sheet streak. During the 2008 to 2009 season, Manchester United's goalkeeper Edwin van der Sar set the Premier League record for the longest time without conceding a goal. 1,311 minutes. This is a record of pure, sustained perfection. The streak started on November 8th and wasn't broken until March 4th. He went the entire months of December, January, and February without picking the ball out of his net in a league game. That's 14 full matches of flawless concentration. This wasn't just him. It was a fortress built in front of him by Vidic and Ferdinand. But to put it in perspective, the previous English top-flight record was Peter Cech's 1,025 minutes. Van der Sar beat that by nearly 300 minutes, which is more than 3 full matches. In today's Premier League, where every team has world-class attackers and goals can come from anywhere, a 30-yard wonder strike, an unlucky deflection, or a VAR-awarded penalty, going 1,311 minutes without conceding is a statistical impossibility. Scoring in 21 consecutive league seasons. Ryan Giggs holds a record of endurance that will never be matched, scoring a league goal in 21 consecutive top-flight seasons. This streak started in the 1991 to 92 season, the old First Division, and ran every single season until 2012 to 2013. This is not just about scoring, it's about unparalleled adaptation. Giggs began as a flying teenage winger, all pace and flair. As he aged, he transitioned into a visionary, deep-lying central midfielder, pulling the strings. This ability to completely reinvent himself is why he lasted so long under one manager, Sir Alex Ferguson. In the modern game, loyalty is rare, and the one-club man is a dying breed. Even if a player stayed, the physical demands and squad rotation at top clubs are too intense. A player's peak is shorter. Nobody will have the combination of talent, injury avoidance, adaptability, and one-club loyalty to play and score in 21 straight seasons. 3 consecutive major trophy. The Spanish national team achieved a dynasty of total dominance by winning 3 consecutive major international trophies: Euro 2008, the 2010 World Cup, and Euro 2012. This was the tiki-taka era, where the Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets midfield core choked opponents into submission with possession. It wasn't just that they won, it was how they won. They won Euro 2008, beating Germany. They ground out 4 straight 1-0 wins in the 2010 World Cup knockouts. Then, when critics called them boring, they produced their best performance, demolishing Italy 4-0 in the Euro 2012 final. This 4-year period of suffocating dominance is unmatched. The international game is too deep now. The talent is too spread out. France, England, Portugal, Brazil, Argentina. There are 8 to 10 teams that can win any given tournament. For one nation to have a golden generation so perfect that it stays at its peak for 4 straight years is a feat we'll likely never see again. Career trophies. Lionel Messi holds the record for the most trophies won by a footballer, with 44. This number represents a career of nothing but winning. At every possible level, his cabinet is a testament to total dominance. With Barcelona, he won 10 La Liga titles, 7 Copa del Rey trophies, and 4 Champions Leagues. He then moved to PSG and picked up 3 more trophies. For Argentina, he finally completed the set, winning the Copa America, the Finalissima, and the big one, the 2022 FIFA World Cup. His move to Inter Miami, where he instantly won them their first ever trophy, the Leagues Cup, just cemented his status as a serial winner. His closest rival, Dani Alves, sits at 43. With Messi still playing and winning, this number is only going to grow. For one player to win this much, they have to be a generational talent and play for multiple historic dynasty-level teams. It's a standard of success that is almost impossible to imagine. Champions League trophies as manager. Carlo Ancelotti is the undisputed king of Europe, holding the record for the most Champions League trophies won by a manager, with 5. He's the only manager to have ever reached this number. He won it twice with AC Milan, leading them through their own era of dominance. Then he moved to Real Madrid and did it 3 more times, cementing his legacy. His closest rivals are Pep Guardiola, Zinedine Zidane, and Bob Paisley, who are all stuck on 3. Ancelotti is 2 full trophies clear of the next best managers in history. What's more, he's the only manager to have taken teams to 6 finals. His 2022 run with Madrid was a masterclass in comebacks and voodoo, while his 2024 win was a masterclass in control. Winning this tournament once is a life's achievement. Winning 5 requires managing 2 different superclubs in 2 different eras. This level of sustained success is unimaginable. Longest goal scored. The record for the longest goal in football history belongs to goalkeeper Asmir Begovic, who scored from 91.9 metres. This is a record of pure, unadulterated fluke. It happened in November 2013 in a match for Stoke City against Southampton. Just 13 seconds into the game, Begovic hit a routine clearance from his own penalty box, but it was a ridiculously windy day at the Britannia Stadium. The wind caught the ball. It flew down the pitch, took one massive bounce over the head of the Southampton keeper, Artur Boruc, and nestled directly into the net. Begovic didn't even celebrate. He looked embarrassed. This is unbreakable because it's not a record of skill. It's a record of atmospheric conditions. You can't try to do this. You need a goalkeeper to hit a clearance from his own box, have a 50+ miles per hour gust of wind carry it, and have the opposing keeper misjudge a 1 in a million bounce. It's an accident of nature. 6-second goal by a substitute. The record for the fastest goal by a substitute in Premier League history belongs to Nicholas Bendtner, who scored in just 6 seconds. In a 2007 North London derby, Arsenal had a corner against Tottenham. Arsene Wenger decided to sub on the 19-year-old Bendtner. As he ran onto the pitch, the corner was being taken. Cesc Fabregas whipped the ball in, and Bendtner, with his very first touch of the game, rose up and powered a header into the net. He had been on the field for 6 seconds. This record is unbreakable because it's a perfect storm of coincidences. A substitute must be brought on for a set piece. That set piece must be taken instantly. The delivery must be perfect. And the substitute must score with their first touch. Most subs take 30 seconds just to get into the flow of the game. 6 seconds is a statistical impossibility, a moment of flawless timing that can't be replicated. 58.13 metre headed goal. This is one of the most bizarre records in football. In 2011, Norwegian midfielder Jon Samuelsson scored the longest range headed goal ever recorded at 58.13 metres. In a match for ODD Grenland, the opposing team's goalkeeper had come up for a last-minute corner. The corner was cleared and the ball was lumped forward. As the ball bounced in midfield, Samuelsson and an opponent challenged for it. Samuelsson, from inside his own half, jumped and headed the ball. It looped perfectly, bounced once, and rolled into the empty net. This record is unbreakable because it's a complete accident. No player tries to score a 58-metre header. It requires a specific, chaotic set of circumstances. An empty net, a hopeful punt, and a perfectly timed header from a ridiculous distance that just happens to have the exact right trajectory. It's a 1 in a billion fluke, and it's now in the history books forever. 1,197 appearances for a single club. This record is a combination of two. Rogério Ceni's 1,197 appearances for São Paulo is the most games played for a single club, and he's the goalkeeper who scored 131 goals, but let's focus on the loyalty. 1,197 games. This record shatters the numbers of other one-club legends like Ryan Giggs, Paolo Maldini, or Francesco Totti. Ceni joined São Paulo in 1990 and played his last game in 2015, a 25-year career spent with one badge on his chest. In the modern era of football, this is a fantasy. The transfer market, player power, agent fees, and the project-based nature of clubs mean a 25-year career at one team will never happen again. A player of Ceni's quality would be poached by a European giant for hundreds of millions. This record isn't just about durability, it's about a level of loyalty between a player and a club that no longer exists in the sports economy. A clean sheet streak. In the 2015-16 season, Gianluigi Buffon set the Serie A record for the longest streak without conceding a goal, at 974 consecutive minutes. This is the goalkeeping equivalent of a perfect game. For 10 straight matches, nobody could score past the Juventus legend. The streak started in January and ran all the way to March. He finally conceded in the 48th minute of the Turin derby. He surpassed the previous record of 929 minutes, which had stood since 1994. What's more, he did this at 38 years old, proving his legendary status. This record is a testament to both his individual genius and the collective organisation of the legendary trio Bonucci, Barzali, and Chiellini defence in front of him. In modern, attack-focused football, where even Serie A games are high-scoring, and with VAR awarding penalties for minor handballs, a keeper going over 10 full games of perfection is unthinkable. Red cards in one match. The record for the most red cards issued in a single match is 36. This is pure, unadulterated chaos. It happened in 2011 in the Argentinian fifth tier in a match between Claypole and Victoriano Arenas. The game was already brutal, but a mass brawl erupted in the second half. The referee, Damian Rubino, sent off a player. The brawl then escalated, with players, managers, and even fans joining in the fight on the pitch. Rubino couldn't control the situation. So, in his official match report, he sent off all 22 players, plus every single substitute and coach. He could identify 36 red cards in total. The game was obviously abandoned. This is unbreakable because it's not really a football record, it's a clerical one. It's a referee losing complete control and deciding to punish everyone involved. 92 career hat tricks. While his career goal total is debated, Pelé's 92 official hat tricks as recognised by Guinness World Records, is a number that boggles the mind. A single professional hat-trick is the dream of a lifetime for most players. Pelé averaged more than 6 per year for his entire prime. This wasn't just scoring, it was a relentless, sustained dominance over every defender he faced. For comparison, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, the two greatest goal scorers of the modern era, have 66 and 61 hat-tricks, respectively. As incredible as their numbers are, they are still 30-plus hat-tricks behind Pelé. This record is unbreakable because the game is now too fast, too tactical, and too evenly matched defences don't collapse in the same way, and the sheer physical toll prevents the kind of repeated goal feasts Pelé managed at Santos. This 92 treble haul represents a level of consistent, repeated dominance that is now impossible. 35 assists in a single season. While league-only records are often cited, Juan Mata's 2012 to 2013 season for Chelsea was a creative masterpiece. 35 assists in all competitions. This is a number that even assist kings like Messi, De Bruyne and Ozil have not matched in a single campaign. That season, Mata was the creative hub of a team that played a marathon 69 games, winning the Europa League. He was tireless, providing 17 assists in the Premier League, 12 in European competitions, and 6 in domestic cups. This record is unbreakable due to modern load management. No top-tier playmaker will ever be run into the ground by playing 69 games in one season again. With the specialisation of squads and heavy rotation, the sheer volume of minutes required to rack up 35 assists is no longer possible for one player. This record isn't just about creative genius. It's about a level of physical endurance that managers no longer demand. 5 World Cup appearances. This record of longevity is so difficult that 5 players have to share it. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lothar Matthäus, Antonio Carvajal, and Rafael Marquez. They all played in 5 separate World Cup tournaments. This means an international career spanning over 16 years. First, a player must be a prodigy, good enough to make the squad as a teenager, or in their very early 20s. Then, they must avoid all career-ending injuries. Third, they must remain an undisputed, elite starter for their national team for nearly 2 decades, fending off all new young talent. And finally, their nation must be good enough to qualify for all 5 tournaments. Gianluigi Buffon was in 5 squads, but only played in 4. With the physical demands of the modern game and the unlikelihood of all those factors aligning, this club of 5 is almost certainly at maximum capacity. It's the ultimate testament to sustained generational greatness.